Hello, everybody. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me all right. It's so wonderful to have you back. I am so happy to see you here. All right, waiting for somebody to confirm that you can hear me. Oh, I guess I gotta scroll. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Here we are again. It's the final night of the MonDak Wellness Summit. It has been an amazing week. What a powerful journey this week has been. And tonight we're closing with a topic that quietly affects nearly every family in this region. We're honored to begin this evening with Stacey, a nursing student who teaches on one of the most important and overlooked pillars of modern health, reversing insulin resistance through simple, strategic food habits. After menopause left her struggling, dismissed, and searching for answers the system couldn't offer, Stacey discovered the power of using food as medicine. That shift didn't just improve her labs, it changed her life. And now she's passionate about helping others reclaim their health in a way that feels doable, empowering, and sustainable. Tonight, Stacey breaks down insulin resistance in a way that finally makes sense. No extremes, not perfection, no overwhelm, just fasting, practical strategies that work especially for 88% of the people who are currently metabolically unhealthy, whether they know it yet or not. Welcome to the stage, Stacey from Stacey's Quest.
Hello, I hope that my internet is okay. Let me know if I'm a little spotty because I feel like you are. I think it's my internet. So we're going to say a little prayer for the internet to work properly. And I'm happy to be here, Tanya. Thank you so much for having me. I am super excited to share this with everyone because people need to hear this for sure.
All right, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna leave you and bring up your slides.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Thank you, all my friends and fans, for coming to watch me, and I'm super excited. Let me see here. I think I'm on the wrong slide. I need to go back a couple. Okay, so my name is Stacey. Now I just got married, and I was in a bad place when I started my quest. And I call it a quest because the medical professionals were not helping me. And I'm not insulting medicine. I'm going into nursing. It is not like that. But when I was begging for help in menopause, I was not getting it. And I felt like I was back in my puberty days, but on steroids with it. And everything I used to feel all came flooding back. And I do have a history of depression and anxiety. And it just, what I was doing was not working. And I just started, actually, that's how I met Tanya. And I went to go see her. And at the same time, I found information on insulin resistance. And let's dive right in. So again, welcome in. I'm happy you're here. So sick care versus healthcare. Sick care is just a big industry. And sadly, if you're sick, you're profitable. And if you're healthy, you are not profitable. And the food that we're eating is impacting us negatively. So why are we tired, inflamed, and hungry? Well, I'm about to tell you. And let me know in the comments if you're tired, inflamed, and hungry all the time, because I know I was, and I am no longer that way. What I'm going to talk about tonight is why we're sick. I'm going to talk about Dr. Ben Bikman. I study him. He's an amazing metabolic scientist, and I'll tell you more about him in a moment. Insulin resistance, and then we're going to tell you some solution that you can start tomorrow morning. Super exciting. Okay, so I know these are a little bit small. It just states that obesity in U.S. children has an increase unprecedentedly in the past couple of decades. Only 12% of American adults are actually metabolically healthy. 88% of the population is metabolically healthy and doesn't even realize it. And cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in the United States, actually globally, at 7.9 million people yearly. Here is our problem. It's the food. A few companies run the gamut when it comes to processed foods. And decades ago, like when my parents were children, we didn't have this type of food. And we ate whole, natural, real foods. And there was less diabetes, much less obesity, and much less heart disease. And through, I was born in 75. And through that time, as you probably know, what did we eat? Kellogg's cereal, Pop-Tarts, all of those processed carbohydrates and simple carbs. And we were told by medical professionals in the world around us to eat small meals every 2 hours, that fat makes you fat, that the red meat and the eggs are what are causing our heart disease. And they told us to run our life on carbs to keep our metabolism going and to get all the energy we do from carbs. And I'll talk to you more about that in a moment. But carbs are sugar, and especially the kind of carbs I'm speaking of, like the bread, pasta, rice, and flour-based foods. As you can see in the pictures above, the food is different today than it was years ago. Carrots are bigger, fruits are bigger, potatoes are bigger, and our wheat is not the wheat that it once was. They removed the fiber from our food when they started processing it years ago. And fiber is necessary to control our blood sugars. And when they removed the fiber, we had blood sugars that are out of control, which caused an insulin spike. And we're going to discuss that in 1 minute. So here's the problem. And like I said, it's how we're raised. And we can start with Mr. Harvey Kellogg's. So Mr. Kellogg's coined this slogan that breakfast is the most important meal of the day to sell us cereal. And what did we do? We ate the cereal and everything else. And I can tell you that when you start your day with a bowl of sugar, which that's what those cereals are, we start our day with hunger the rest of the day because we spike that blood sugar and we spike that insulin. Eating fat does not make you fat. And they told us that fat makes you fat. They told us to stop using butter and start using margarine and start cooking with seed oils. And all of those things are very dangerous for our system. And one of the biggest lies of all is the food pyramid that came out in 1977, which told us to eat 6 to 11 servings of grains daily and to minimize the fats and the meats and eat more fruits and the grains. And that's what we did. We ate small meals all day long, a breakfast and then a snack, and then lunch and then a snack, and then dinner and then a snack. And all day long, our insulin was high and we were storing fat instead of burning it. Now, I want to stop for a second because I do a lot of TikTok things. And on there, if you say certain words, you do get restricted. And fat is one of them. So I usually spell it out. So if I do that, you can laugh along with me because that's just a habit that I have that I do. So I just almost spelled it out. That's why I'm laughing right now. Okay, so your body is telling you something and we don't know how to listen. Your body is warning you. We are amidst of a metabolic health crisis and obesity crisis that has taken the world by force, hijacking our biology, creating cellular dysfunction, and ultimately making us overweight, depressed, infertile, and chronically ill. Then, like I said earlier, 12% of the population is metabolically healthy, and sadly, 88% of us are not. And I was part of that 88%. And I didn't even realize how unhealthy I was. And I also had infertility. Sadly, now I'm postmenopausal. I did not have children. Yes, we're going to speak of that in 1 second, Kendra. I'm so excited about that. They flipped the food pyramid. Hallelujah. But I was part of that 88%. And I didn't know how serious it was. And I ran my life on carbohydrates. And I'm not demonizing the carbohydrate. I want you to understand that. There are different kinds of carbohydrates. I'm talking about the sugar, like the simple carbs, the ones that burn off the fastest. So I want to introduce Dr. Ben Bikman. Dr. Ben Bikman is someone that I learned from. He wrote the book, Why We Get Sick. And this is a great book if you want to learn more about metabolic health. He is one of the leading metabolic scientists in the world. He teaches at Brigham and Young University in Utah as a cellular biology teacher. He also studies fat cells for a living, and he is well versed in insulin resistance. He is a very intelligent man, way smarter than me, and someone that I love to listen to. He's a biomedical scientist specializing in metabolic health and insulin resistance. And you can read all of that yourself as well. But he also works closely. He actually helped change the food pyramid. He's well known in the industry of metabolic health, someone you might want to look into, as well as Dr. Jason Fung, another well-renowned nephrologist that talks about how you can reverse type 2 diabetes naturally by changing the way you eat your food. And that's what I help people do every single day. Okay, so insulin resistance. I am not sure if you've heard of insulin resistance. And like it says here, it's an epidemic you may have never heard of. 1 in 3 Americans have it, but here's the problem. 50 to 80% of us don't even know what it is or ever heard of it. And I was one of those. So I didn't think this could be me because I was not diabetic. And I was like, insulin is for diabetes. Boy, was I wrong. Insulin resistance is a dietary condition where the cell of your body stops responding to the hormone insulin. And then this is how it works. Over time, we eat those unhealthy carbohydrates, and our pancreas, and I happen to have one right here, our pancreas goes to work and it sends out insulin. Every single person in the world has insulin, the hormone. It is a fat storing hormone, unless you are type 1 diabetic. Type 1 diabetics do not have enough or any insulin, so they're considered insulin dependent. Okay. And type 2 diabetics are insulin resistant. So type 2 diabetics have too much insulin, and type 1 diabetics have no insulin. And the insulin hormone is what makes us store fat. So we have to realize that in order to lose weight, we've got to lower our insulin. And just so you know, insulin resistance is dietary. And you get it from eating the wrong food in the wrong order and too often. And you can absolutely reverse it the same way. Just reverse the way you're eating. And I'm going to show you that in a few minutes. So here's the problem. And insulin resistance is in the center of that circle, and all the things around it, like diabetes, cancer, and that's type 2, PCOS in females, non-alcoholic fatty liver, heart disease, yes, high blood pressure, Alzheimer's, type 3 diabetes is considered Alzheimer's, and it is insulin resistance of your brain. Migraines come from it, erectile dysfunction, neuropathy, and obesity. Here are some signs that you're metabolically unhealthy. Do you know those skin little tags that look like moles, but you get them over time and you're not born with them? They're more, you probably know what they are. Some people say you can tie a string and have them fall off. Some people get them removed by a dermatologist. They're actually signs of high insulin. And when you lower your insulin, they will fall off. But if you have belly fat, skin tags, you know that dark skin pigmentation around your neck, eyelids, maybe under your arms or in your groin area. Some people have it on their elbows and knees. That's a sign. Sleep apnea, high blood sugars, and constant cravings of sugar and fatigue is one as well. And obviously, if your stomach, if you measure around your stomach and you were to roll out that tape measure and it's more than half of your height, you are insulin resistant, most likely. Now, I'm not diagnosing you, and this is not medical advice, but those are very big signs that there could be a problem. And I'm going to show you in a moment how you calculate your own insulin resistance from your blood work. So what is insulin? So to understand insulin resistance, we must first understand insulin. So insulin, like I said earlier, is a hormone that's made in our pancreas. It tells the body what to do with energy. And remember, glucose is our first energy source. Fat, it's a fat storing hormone, and it makes things bigger. Hence, it pushes those skin tags out. It makes us store sugar as fat in our fat cells of our stomach. And its main job is to move the fuel out of your bloodstream and put it into your cells. So if you look at my images there, insulin is like a key, and it opens up the receptor in the cell and it allows the glucose in. So let me explain that a little bit better. Every single cell in our body has an insulin receptor and a glucose channel. The glucose channel remains closed until the insulin opens up the receptor of your cell. It reminds me of like a Tesla, how you plug it in to give it energy. That's kind of like what the insulin does. It plugs into your cell, but instead of the insulin getting the energy, the cell is getting the energy. And that's the way insulin works. So when you eat food, all foods convert to glucose, whether it's fat, protein, or carbohydrates. Carbohydrates turn more to glucose, and the protein and fat turn less. But no matter what you eat, you're going to have a blood sugar response. And once you have the blood sugar response, that's when the insulin comes out. And the insulin comes out and it drives around in your bloodstream with the glucose, and it goes to every single cell that needs energy. And the insulin opens the cell, and then the glucose goes in, and then your blood sugar comes down. Now, here's the thing. When we're overloading our body with sugar in our diet, we end up with too much sugar and too much insulin, making us hyperinsulinemic and hyperglycemic. But then the insulin brings down the blood sugar. So now you're hypoglycemic. Hypo is low and hyper is high. And then when you're hypoglycemic, my friends, what do we do when we're hypoglycemic? We eat because we have the shakes. We're tired. We're nervous that we're going to pass out, and we're hangry. And what do we do when we're hangry? We eat food. So that's when we go for the simple carbohydrates, like a glass of orange juice or some Skittles or some M&Ms or something like that. So you don't get fat because you eat too much. You do not get fat because you eat too much. You get fat because your insulin tells your body to store too much. So when we have an overload of glucose, the extra glucose doesn't just dissipate. It has to be put somewhere. And insulin's job is to store. So if it cannot store it into the cell, it's going to store it into your midsection. And it starts on your liver. So the picture in the back, like behind this front wording, shows a body with visceral fat. Now, visceral fat is the dangerous kind. It's the kind that surrounds your organs and causes inflammation and organ dysfunction. The kind of fat you can pinch, that's the subcutaneous fat. That is not as dangerous. What we need to do is burn that visceral fat by changing the way we eat so we can drop the amount we have, lower that down, and start fixing our bodies metabolically. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask. I love questions. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is the blood sugar roller coaster ride. Now, we want to leave our blood sugar in that optimal range, in that peach little line there with the green wavy line. I call that the kiddie ride. And I love roller coasters. If you know me, you know I'll be on a roller coaster in a second. Even at 50 years old, I grab Mark and we go to whatever park we can, no matter what. I do it all the time. I love the roller coaster rides, but I do not love this roller coaster ride. So when we eat a high sugar diet all the time, and I'm not talking about candy, I'm talking about bread, pasta, rice, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, fast food, processed food, cereal, oatmeal, all these things are higher on the glycemic index, and they're going to spike us up the most. And the higher the spike, the deeper the crash. And when we do this, we end up craving, hungry, hangry. And how many of you get that thanks, Kristen. How many of you get that 3 o'clock slump? You know, you want a siesta at work. Even when I worked overnights, I would still get that feeling at 3 o'clock in the morning, because when you run your life on the carbohydrate, you're going to be exhausted by at the end of your day. Excuse me. So people are finally waking up. And like we said earlier, I don't know if you saw the news, but I definitely want to watch this Toxic America's Food Crisis with Jillian Michaels. She used to be on the show, The Biggest Loser. I'm not sure if you remember her. I love her. Anyway, I can't wait to see that. I believe it's on Netflix. I'm not quite sure, but you can look that up on Google. And this is a before and after of that food pyramid. This is the new food pyramid, the one that's inverted. That is telling us to eat more protein and more veggies. And look where the grains are, way in the bottom, to eat those minimally. They're not even demonizing the egg anymore. We can eat eggs again without criticism. That is amazing. And look at that nice juicy steak up top. I love meat. I do eat veggies too. I eat all the foods. I just eat them in the right order. But this is what we're changing to. And this has actually changed my life. So insulin resistance, there are so many signs of insulin resistance. How do you know if you're insulin resistant? You can do a measure with your blood work. So if you have a recent blood work, you can go to it, and I want you to look where the cholesterol is. Now you'll have your LDL, you'll have your HDL, and you'll have your triglycerides. So when you look at those numbers, I want you to take your triglycerides and divide them by your HDL. Get a number. It's going to be a number like 2 point something or 3 point something or 1 point something. You want that number to be less than 2, preferably 1.5. But if it's less than 2, you're doing really well. If you're over 2, you're becoming more of a moderate to high risk. This says between 1 and 2 is moderate. 1.5 is pretty normal. But if you're creeping up to 2, and then if you're between 2 and 3, you are in a high risk. And you probably want to take some measures to change your diet. So let me just explain it a little bit more to make sure we understand. So when we eat these foods over time, I just want to make sure I'm explaining the insulin resistance, because this is a big topic, and I feel it's an epidemic because it impacts 1 in 3 people, and our children are even getting it, and our children are getting non-alcoholic fatty liver as well, and pre-diabetes, and that is unheard of. And here's what happens. When we eat a breakfast and have a snack and eat a lunch and have a snack and eat a dinner and have a snack, all day long, we spike that blood sugar and the insulin. Now, here's the problem. The blood sugar and the blood sugar will go up and down, causing that roller coaster ride I discussed a little bit ago. But the insulin will stay up, and it stays up for 4 or 5 hours. And so whenever it's up, we are storing fat. You cannot burn fat if you have high insulin. You get high insulin from carbohydrates and eating too often, okay? So as you're spiking and crashing and exhausted and getting chubby and our hormones are out of whack and you're feeling a little confused as to why you feel so awful and your blood work looks decent and the doctors are saying you're fine, but you know you're not, you most likely have high insulin. And when you have high insulin over time, it'll start making certain cells insulin resistant in your body and causing like high blood pressure or high cholesterol. And maybe your blood sugars will start showing a little bit of dysfunction. But the thing is, we've got to learn to lower that insulin. So I know we always focus on the blood sugar, but what goes along with the blood sugar is the insulin, and the insulin is the culprit. And insulin and blood sugar are like Bert and Ernie. They go together. And whenever you spike that blood sugar, you're going to spike the insulin. So we've got to learn that breaking from food and keeping that blood sugar low will in turn keep our insulin low. I almost exited. That would have been really embarrassing. Okay, so there are solutions. There are natural solutions that I'm so excited to explain to you. Now, every single night, no, Janice, not if you fix your insulin resistance, because here's the thing. I know we think it's always because of the meat, but meat does not spike your insulin. The carbohydrates do. And when your insulin is low, your fat will digest easier and properly, so you won't get the fat deposits in your blood. So as we think it's because of the meat, it's actually because of the carbohydrate, because most of your cholesterol comes from your liver. And when your liver is not functioning properly because of the food we're eating, our liver ends up spitting out more cholesterol. So 70%, it is a great question, 70% of our cholesterol comes from the liver. So I know we think it's the meat, but it's actually not. And your cholesterol will lower if you control those sugars coming in and you add more fiber. And we'll talk about that too. And I know it's confusing because we've been told this for years, that the problem with cholesterol is egg yolks and red meat, right? A lot of times, like the fat. But honestly, it's the complete opposite. Now, here's what we can do to get started at home. The first thing you might want to do is to start lowering your added sugar. Now, sugar is in everything, and they even hide sugar in our nicotine. Not that you should be smoking cigarettes, but I'm just giving you an example of how the people that are making money off of us being sick also know where to put sugar, and they know how it impacts our body. Now, remember, sugar is 10 times more addictive than illicit drugs. Literally, it gives you a dopamine response. And I will promise you, you're not broken. And it's not because you're getting older. It's because your body is not functioning properly because you're eating the food too often in the wrong foods. Now, butter is excellent, Brenda. Butter is great. You can use butter all the time. You want to look at using extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil. Avoid seed oils at all costs and throw away that margarine. We grew up eating margarine, right, Mom? My mom's in here. And they were told us to. They told us to, and it really wasn't the way we should have done it. But we didn't know better. That's what we told, and that's what we did. Now, I know people get nervous about fasting, but here's the thing about fasting. Fasting is healing, and there's so many ways to do it. I'm getting a little parched. So different types of fasting. You can do like a 12-hour fast. You could do a 16-hour fast. You could do an OMAD, like 1 meal a day fast. You could do 12, 4, and 4. There's so many ways. And I want to tell you, if you're in your menstrual cycle years, I want you to look up Dr. Mindy Pelz. If somebody wants to type that in the comments, that would be great. Dr. Mindy Pelz. I guess I could probably. I'm not sure if I can. Dr. Mindy Pelz teaches you how to fast like a girl and age like a girl. So she's amazing. Fasting like a girl means you fast with your hormones of your cycle. So there's a month chart that I can show you how to get. And each week of the month, it tells you how many hours you should fast, more or less, and how you should eat your foods. And when you fast with your cycle, it'll benefit your body tremendously. So fasting is key. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to fast for hours or days. Now, fasting for extended fasts are something you might do later on when you've been doing this a little bit longer. But I would say if you're new to fasting, every night we sleep, we're fasting. Let me know how I'm doing on time, Tanya, too. I don't want to go over. So when we're fasting, when we're sleeping, we're fasting. So that it just means you're breaking from food. So if you stopped eating at 8 p.m. and you go to bed at your regular time, what's going to happen is all your food digests, your insulin and your blood sugar come down, your glucagon is going to burn off. Okay. Once that happens, your brain signals your liver to start turning your fat, the stored sugar from all the carbs that's there for you in case you run out of food. You have an unlimited amount of fat on your body. And what will happen is when you break from food, your liver will go to work and it'll start taking that fat and turning it into energy. And that, my friends, is your second fuel source. So when you start making ketones, and if you are postmenopausal, Dr. Mindy Pelz says that the postmenopausal brain loves ketones. And you will see that I feel amazing. I literally fixed all my menopause symptoms doing this. It's so crazy. And a little bit of help from Tanya as well. We won't leave that out, right, Tanya? So fasting is key. You can start at 12 or 13 hours. Oh, so when you go through the night, you start burning fat by 12 hours. You know what happens also in the morning? When you wake up in the morning, your GLP-1, your glucagon-like peptide, you know everyone's taking Ozempics, the skinny shots and stuff. And that's fine to do, but they mimic your body's GLP-1. So I'm not, if you're on them, great. They do a lot of benefits for a lot of people. But I want you to also understand that we need to be eating food as well. So if that shot is causing you to not be able to eat, you've got to find a way to eat the food. Okay. So your GLP-1 is stimulated when you wake up in the morning. in your body. It's going to be fat burning, and your human growth hormone that helps you make some lean muscles, that's stimulated too. So when you get to 12 hours, if you stopped at 8 p.m., at 8 a.m., you're 12 hours in. I always recommend going to 13 hours. Give your body that one more hour. And how you break your fast, for sure, Joanna. Oh, yeah. How you break your fast really does matter. So when you know how we like to tell ourselves, oh, let's celebrate. Let's go have something sweet because we just went 13 hours without eating. Pat on my back. Don't do that. Please don't do that. When you eat your first meal, I want you to think about protein, fiber, and good fats. Try to break your fast with that. You eat a well-balanced meal. I don't want you to worry about the calories. We're not doing a diet here. We're not counting calories. We're not counting macros. I'm not counting anything. The only thing I'm counting is the hours from when I ate yesterday to when I eat today and how my plate looks. If I have a lot of bread, I'm going to eat more fiber and protein. If I have protein and fiber or protein and good fats, I'm good to go. These foods are going to make you full and they're going to keep you from snacking all day. Now, on these little sheets, I get these on Google. If you want cheat sheets like these, I would suggest you can go right on Google and type in a high protein cheat sheet. And those will show you how to get enough protein, how to get healthier fats, and how to get more fiber. Now, why is fiber key? Fiber has been removed from our diet and our processed foods. And what fiber does is it controls your blood sugar, it controls your insulin, and it also controls your cholesterol. Okay, great. It also controls your cholesterol. What it also does is heal your gut. I had IBS for 19 years, and I fixed it in 2 weeks. I just got nervous because I'm like, how much time am I at? I fixed my gut issues in 2 weeks, changing my diet. It's not a joke. I can't believe it myself. I had numerous colonoscopies in my 30s and 5 minutes. Okay, I better rush here. We're rolling. And I literally fixed it. So I want to show you this really quick. So fasting, fiber, protein, good fats, and you can still eat the bread. Whenever you eat the bread, I want you to make sure you put fiber and protein first. Now, if you struggle with the food addiction and the cravings, I use some simple tools that I do have a link to. And this is what that is. And you can check this out later. These products are nutraceuticals. They're in the PDR. If you're a doctor or nurse, you probably heard of the PDR. It is the encyclopedia for medications. These two nutraceuticals are on there, and they stimulate GLP-1 in your body. They control your blood sugar, control your insulin, make you feel great, and literally stop food cravings. If you're looking for something like that, I can help you there too. I want to show you really quick before and afters. So my before and after is that first one. I lost 40 pounds. I fixed all my menopause symptoms. I have no more high blood pressure. I don't take medication for anything. I have no cravings. I'm also an alcoholic in recovery. I don't crave alcohol anymore. And I have no depression, anxiety, mood swings, hot flashes, brain fog went away. And these are some other of my friends. Kristen's in the chat. She reversed her type 2 diabetes. Tanya Lee did too. Crystal on the bottom with the blonde bangs. She had Hashimoto's thyroidism, reversed it. Janice is in the chat. She also reversed her Hashimoto's in 12 weeks, and her cholesterol is better than it ever has been, even when she was on a statin. Skin tags fell off. The gentleman with no shirt on, he lost, Michael, he lost 150. And Kindle, she's a little bit younger. She's in her 20s. She lost 75. Her IBS is gone, and she reversed her PCOS. And this is Michael Martin right here. He lost over 130 pounds in a year. He got off all of his medications except for a baby aspirin and a allergy pill. And that is my QR code if you want to check out the products and my link. And I want to tell you, it's progress, not perfection. And you can do it, and you're so worth it. And thank you so much for being here, you guys. I hope you got some information and enjoyed yourself. You're muted, Tanya.
Okay, thank you. There I am. Oh, you did such a good job. If anybody has got any comments left, or any questions left, you're welcome to give that a couple minutes. I put her link in there. All you have to do is click on it, and it will take you to the product page. If you would like to chat with Stacey, go to Facebook. I put her Facebook link on there as well, and you can reach out to her in Messenger. If you're a TikTok person, I didn't get that link, but is it Stacey's Quest on there? Is that where you are on
Yes,
TikTok?
it's Stacey's Quest. Yep. All my social media is Stacey's Quest.
Right. Yeah, that was an excellent. I hope that for the replay, I can upload your slides as well. You do such a good job with your media, and your slides were great.
Well, thank you, because I was super nervous, everyone. So I hope I did okay.
She did. She did.
I loved it. Thank you so much for having me, Tanya.
Right.
It was awesome.
Awesome. We are just right on time. So I love it. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to say goodbye to Stacey. All right. And clean up the screen here. Okay. Now let me find my note here. Next, we are going to bring to the screen one of MonDak's finest. She's the owner and operator of Glow Tanning Salon in Williston. Christine Nelson is going to bring us some clarity on a topic that there's been a lot of misconceptions about and it is indoor tanning and red light therapy. She will debunk some of those common myths and explain how tanning and red light can support wellness when used correctly. And she's going to share a little bit more about all of the other things that her spa offers. Come on up here, Christine.
Hi.
Welcome.
My glasses are weird. Let me take those off.
Awesome. Welcome to the MonDak Wellness Summit.
Thank you. I'm not sure how you put the slides on.
Yep, sure. I'll get them for you. All right, I'm gonna go, and okay. It's all.
Hi, everybody. Like Tanya said, I just want to talk about the indoor tanning and about things like red light therapy and some of the myths behind tanning and stuff like that. Tanning is not as bad for you as what the internet would like to portray. They make it seem like if you go into a tanning bed, you're going to get cancer. That is so far from true. Majority of people that have had cancer have never even been in a tanning salon before or in a tanning bed. There's so many factors that factor into getting cancer that tanning is not a major problem. I'm not going to say that you'll never get cancer from tanning. I would never ever try to make that claim or anything like that. But all you're going to read online are the bad things about tanning. You have to do your deep research. I go to a lot of tanning expos. I speak to a lot of experts that include doctors. There's many dermatologists out there that are not against tanning. Hi, Stacey. I see that you go to the tanning salon. I knew that too. But yeah, there's just a lot of things. I'm not quite sure how to switch over. Let me see if I can switch over. Okay, let me get to the tanning one. Okay, so some of the benefits of UV tanning, it does create a natural looking tan. So you don't have to be outside to get that natural look. You could be in a tanning bed, and it doesn't take hours in the tanning bed. You can virtually go for a couple of minutes a day, not every day. They do want you to, they try and imply like if you go every day for 10 minutes at a time or whatever, you're going to get cancer. That's not how it works. But going into an indoor tanning salon is regulated. We have so many state regulations and federal regulations that make it so much more safe to go to an indoor tanning salon rather than to be out in the sun. When you're out in the sun, there's nothing regulating you. I love all the comments that are coming in. It's hard to keep up with them. Just keep piling them on, and I'll try and look at them as much as I can. There's so many benefits indoor tanning. First of all, it creates that natural looking tan. Everybody likes to have that natural glow. It helps you boost your vitamin D. It could help boost your vitamin D. Most people, especially in like the parts of the country that we live in, don't get enough vitamin D from the sun because we have such cloud cover. We don't have the long seasons and things like that. So helping to boost that in any way you can. Some people take pills for it. Some people undergo different therapies for it. Red light therapy is a good thing to help boost it. But indoor tanning is definitely a great way to help boost your vitamin D. Building a base tan, when you have fair skin, it's so easy if you're out in the sun, even for a short time, it's so easy to burn. But when you're building that base tan and doing it properly the way you should, it helps to really boost that. So if you're going on a vacation, if you're going to Hawaii or if you're going to Jamaica or the Caribbean, their sun is very different from the sun that we have. 10 minutes in the sun there is very different than 10 minutes in the sun here. So giving, especially fair skin, giving it that little bit of a base tan before you go on vacations like that really helps so that you don't spend your whole vacation laying in your hotel room because you've burnt so bad. It helps boost your self-confidence. Definitely. Everybody likes to have that natural glow to them, and tanning definitely gives you that little boost of confidence. It helps with your mood and your well-being. Seasonal depression is a very big thing. A lot of people take that for granted, but where we live, it's a very big thing. A lot of that is the low vitamin D, but it's also, it's the cloud cover, it's the gloominess, it's the cold weather. That all gives you a little bit of a depression. I hate to say the word depression, but it is a form of depression. And when you get that 5 minutes laying in that I'm still reading those out of the corner of my eye. So when you get that, even if it's only 5 minutes laying in a tanning bed, you're getting that nice warmth. You're getting that little bit of a glow. You're getting that little boost. It really helps a lot to help alleviate that seasonal depression. We do actually get, I'm not going to say any doctor names around here, but we do get some doctors that will come, they come themselves, but they also recommend it as a prescription for some of their clients. We do have to have, under a certain age for tanning, we do have to have a doctor's note, and they will write a prescription for kids to come in, because kids suffer a lot from seasonal depression. And so we do get doctors that will recommend that they come in. It also helps to relieve a lot of stress. When you're laying there and relaxing, you think about nothing else except laying there and being warm and being relaxed. And we see so many people that come into our tanning salon, and it's really funny because some of them will come in and they'll just be kind of crabby, and they'll be a little snappy with us every once in a while. And they come in, and 10 minutes later, when they come walking out of that bed, they're different. They come out and they're happy and they're cheerful, and that little short time that they spent in the tanning bed helped to boost them, and they feel a lot better afterward. It's quick and convenient. Not everybody has a lot of time to sit and lay out in the sun for hours at a time, and that's not safe anyway. Go into a regulated tanning salon. You get a customizable experience. We have different levels of beds. So if you burn easily, we're not going to recommend a certain bed for you. We have beds that you can stand up. Some people can't, because of physical limitations. They can't lay down in a bed, but they can still stand up. And we have beds that are customizable for them for that. I don't know why it has customizable experience twice on there. That was my bad, I guess. Anyway, that was one of my slides. I want to go talk about a little bit about red light. Let me go back and talk about the benefits of using tanning lotion, since we're on tanning. Some people will say that they want to tan, but they don't want to use any lotion, and lotions are expensive. Tanning lotion is one of those products that you get what you pay for. There are cheap lotions out there, and we have nothing against cheap lotions. We carry lotions of all prices. I think our lowest price lotion is right around $20, and we have lotions that go over $200. There is a difference in your lotions. Not everybody has to have a $200 bottle of lotion, but some people aren't going to benefit from a $20 bottle of lotion. the products that are in tanning lotions, like I said, you get what you pay for in a tanning lotion. The age limit for kids, I just seen that question come up. 16 to 18, 16 to under 18 has to have parental permission. So a parent would have to sign for them, but the parent does not have to come in with them. The parent can just come in, sign for it, and then from there on, the child can tan alone. Under the age of 16, so 15 and below, they have to have a doctor's prescription, plus they have to have a parent that's on the location with them. So most of the parents will come in, because we have doctors that recommend it for acne and for seasonal depression for kids. And when they're that age, the parent can come in, check them in, and then go sit in their car. But they do have to be at the location with them. They can't just leave them there. Federal regulations say that they do have to be there. And we kind of go with that for all services except spray tanning. There is no age limit on spray tanning. So any age can spray tan. But our red light therapy, our hydro massage, all of that, most of those don't have the federal regulations, but we kind of follow the same age limits for all of our services. Yeah, Stacey, everybody looks healthier and prettier when they've got a nice tan on. Anyway, back to the tanning lotions. So tanning lotions do have a lot of skincare benefits to them. They accelerate your tanning process. So they definitely help for your tan to go a little bit quicker. They also extend the life of your tan. So you can extend that out a little bit longer. Your tan won't fade quite as quickly. The main reason for that is it's keeping your skin hydrated. So when your skin is hydrated, it's going to last a little bit longer to keep, for your tan. A tan basically sits on the surface of your skin. A tan doesn't go skin deep. So when it's sitting on the surface of your skin, if your skin is dry, it's going to slough off, and then it's going to fade your tan faster. If you're keeping your skin nice and hydrated with good lotions, not only your tanning lotion, but also good follow-up care lotions, like a water-based lotion is basically what you want. You don't want an oil-based lotion. Oil-based lotions will sit on the surface of your skin. They'll make you look nice and shiny and glossy, so they'll look like they're doing you some good, but in reality, they're really not doing anything because they're not soaking into your skin. You want an oil or a water-based lotion, because a water-based lotion might not give you that glow that you're looking for, but they will soak into your skin, so it'll keep your skin hydrated and soft and smooth, and you won't have all of that slough that sloughs off of your skin, the dryness. Also, drinking a lot of water is a really good thing too, to keep yourself hydrated so that your skin stays nice and hydrated. Helps reduce your dryness. That's where I was leading with that. It also improves the UV light absorption. So when your skin is nice and hydrated and you're using a good based lotion for tanning, it's going to help that UV light absorb a little bit better to give you the glow a little bit faster. They fight free radicals. They help to protect your skin a lot by using a lotion. It also makes your skin feel a lot smoother and healthier. They can contribute to anti-aging. That's where I was going with the difference in the prices. When you get a cheaper lotion, it's not that the lotion's not good. It's just that it's not going to have all of those anti-aging and all of the skincare protection that your skin needs. But like I said, we have lotions that we try and keep in stock a lotion that everybody can afford, because I would rather have you buy a cheaper lotion and use lotion because you can't afford a more expensive one. So if you can't afford a more expensive one, use a cheaper one, because it's still doing you some good. It's just not, if you're buying a $200 bottle of lotion, you don't need all of your other skincare products. You can use your lotion as your skincare product because it's got all that stuff in there. Also, using a good lotion promotes a deeper, richer tan. And that's, in the end, what everybody's paying for, is to get a deeper, richer tan. Let's go on to our next slide. Okay, some of the things you didn't know about indoor tanning. Indoor tanning is very highly regulated. We have a lot of state and federal regulations that we have to follow. We can be inspected at any time. So we have to constantly be following all of those state and federal regulations. Every bed has a time limit on it. So when you're in that bed, it's not us saying that you can't spend 30 minutes in that bed. It is the federal government that has regulated that type of bed to allow you that amount of time. our longest time in a bed is 15 minutes. Some of our beds are only 9-minute beds. That's because the federal government says that that your skin should be in that bed for is a total of 9 minutes. We never allow anybody to just start at the highest time. You have to build your time slowly. When building your time, you want to start only like with 3 minutes. The first time that you tan, do like 3 or 4 minutes at the most. Build your time from there. If you do 3 or 4 minutes and you see no pink, no redness 24 hours later, then add a minute. Don't add 5 minutes, add a minute. Keep going up 1 minute at a time until you build up to that full time. With that being said, also, if you don't tan for a while, if you've taken a few months off or even a month, if you've taken a month off, you need to lower your time back down and start building up again. Don't jump right back in. Don't use the old, I'll jump out if I start to burn. You can't feel a burn. When you're laying in a tanning bed, years ago, I understand back in the 80s, I was tanning back in the 80s too, when I was in high school. Beds were very different than they are now. Back then, you felt the heat in a bed. You felt the burn in a bed. You don't feel that anymore. Beds are regulated and they're so different now that you won't know that you're burning until time later. So when you're building up your time, you want to wait until the next day. See if you have any pinkness. If you have a little bit of pink, bump your time back down or stay at that time, but don't go up the next time you go into tan. Just right, keep building it up. Also, using UV tanning helps to prevent burning because the time is regulated. Also, all of our beds, I can't speak for every tanning salon because every tanning salon has different beds. Hi, Linda. I haven't seen you forever. So all of the beds have different time limits on them. In our salon, all of our beds are called high pressure beds. We have one bed that's a very high pressure bed. That one has a lot of filters on it. I'm not going to say you can't burn because you definitely can burn in any bed, but that one has a lot of filters to filter out that bad UV. All of our beds have the filters. It's just that the lower the bed, like, I hate to say levels, but some tanning salons do refer to them as levels. We don't really do that in our salon, but if you have a level 1 bed, that means that it doesn't have as many filters. So that bed is a lot easier to burn in. That one, you have to definitely work your time up. You have to be really careful in a bed like that. Our beds are higher quality than that, so we don't really go by that, but we do still regulate and keep you lowered until you can build up to that time. Another federal regulation is once every 24 hours. You should always give your skin that full 24 hours before you tan again so that you don't overexpose your skin, because it does actually take a really long time. Some people think that a burn comes like an hour after you're done tanning, and it really doesn't. It could take up to 24 hours. That's why you should always allow 24 hours before you tan again. Boosting your vitamin D. I'm not going to say that it will boost your vitamin D, but it can boost your vitamin D. What that means is it actually converts cholesterol into vitamin D, which is essential for calcium absorption and bone health. Vitamin D is very essential for bone health. Go to my next slide. It's your serotonin production. When you are in the sunlight, it stimulates the brain to release serotonin, and that's the happiness hormone. Higher serotonin levels are improved to mood and well-being. And that's where I was getting before with that. When we get people in, sometimes they'll come in and yes, medication can affect tanning, Brenda. There are different lists. I believe we have one on our website, but you can also Google it. There are medications, and when you Google it, you'll be surprised because it'll pretty much say that every medication has a side effect with tanning. but that's because every medication has a side effect with everything. So, but there are some medications, there are a few medications out there that you shouldn't tan at all. And that's good to talk to your doctor about when you have medication before you go tanning. You should talk to your doctor about that one. But like I was saying, we have people that come in and they'll be just crabby or kind of short with us or something like that. And 10 minutes later, when they come walking out of that bed, they're just totally different and that was a matter of boosting their vitamin D and their serotonin levels. Yes, some do have warnings about the sun, and that is the serious. That's where I was saying with talk to your doctor about your medications that you're on. We can't make any medical claims because we're not doctors. So definitely talk to your doctor about your medications. Vitamin D levels also are crucial for hair growth. So when you're indoor tanning, that could really help with reducing shedding and promoting healthier hair. A lot of people always like worry about your hair fading, like if you're getting your hair colored and everything. You could have some fading. Generally, I've never experienced having fading myself, but I do have my hair sheds a lot when I'm tanning a lot and regularly. I do have less shedding. It definitely helps with that. And for acne, indoor tanning definitely helps because it kills the acne bacteria that grows underneath the skin and it reduces the swelling. So that, I mean, like I said before, we do get doctors that will prescribe people to come in and tan because of acne. Eczema is another one, and psoriasis are other ones that we've had doctors tell their patients to come in and tan because of it helps to ease those kind of symptoms. Easing joint pain. People with fibromyalgia, lupus, MS, things like that are associated with joint aches. We definitely have a lot of people that come in and tan for those kind of things. We have people that come in and they don't care about the color of their skin when they're tanning. All they care about is lubricating those joints. That leads right into easing the joint pain because it does help to lubricate and loosen the joints. That's associated with arthritis, even lupus, MS, fibromyalgia, things like that. Yes, you can wear, we actually sell caps, but yes, you can wear any kind of cap. Some people like to put a towel on to help with fading. I'm not a fan of a towel because of the fact that a towel can't block the UV rays. Same with when you're wearing glasses. Always, always, always wear goggles when you're tanning. It's just the best thing to do. Some people think that if they lay a towel over their face, that's going to block it. But if you can hold a towel up and you can still see that light through, then it's not blocking the UV rays that are coming. So you definitely need to wear UV approved goggles when you're tanning. But yes, you can definitely wear a cap to help with the fading. I don't want to go to that one yet. Okay, let's go here. I want to talk a little bit about red light therapy. The red light that we have at our salon is called poly red light. It is very, very different than most of the red light that you've probably seen. Most people that come in, when they're thinking red light, they're thinking of laying in a bed that looks like a tanning bed, but it has the big long tube lamps that have red light glowing from them. That's not the kind of red light that we have. I'm not saying that that's a bad kind of red light. It's just not as intense as what we have. When you lay in a bed that has tube lamps, you virtually have to get naked, lay in that bed. It has to be exposed to all of your skin. Majority of those are not going to penetrate deep enough into your skin to do you a whole lot of good. They might do you a little bit of surface good, but they're not doing a whole lot of good internally. Most of the time, if you're laying in a bed that has those tube lamps, or even standing in a bed in a stand-up bed that has those tube lamps, they're absorbing your body is absorbing about 18% of that red light. With the poly red light that we have, it is 680 nanometers, which means it goes directly into your bloodstream. So you don't have to be completely naked. You don't have to have your full body exposed to it. You can kind of equate it maybe similar to like a Tylenol. If you have knee pain, you put Tylenol in your mouth and it knows where to go to work. Poly red light is kind of the same thing. You can sit in a chair, have the poly exposed to your face and your neck so that you're not fully naked. You're just exposing it to your bare skin. And it knows where to go to work in your body. It goes into your bloodstream that deeply that it knows where to go to work. It helps to promote skin rejuvenation. It helps to reduce inflammation. It helps to enhance muscle recovery. It helps to improve joint health. All of those go right along with like MS, lupus, those type of things. Also, it helps to lubricate your joints. Another thing that it does is it helps to rebuild the collagen in your skin. That's majority of people that are going for red light right now. The main thing that they're looking for is rebuilding the collagen in their skin. They're looking for the anti-aging. So with that being said, you don't want to do it all the time. You can do it every day. It's not going to hurt you to do it every day. It's just not going to benefit you as much as if you skip a day in between. Your collagen can't regenerate unless it has a full 24 hours. It has to go up, and then it needs a full 24 hours to come back down before you go back up. So if you do it in less than 24 hours, it's going to come down some and then go back up, but it's not going to come down fully like it should and go back up. So you want to give it that full 24-hour little rest period so that your collagen can start to rebuild again. By doing that, it's also going to help with like the wound healing and scar. Like if you have a scar from a surgery or something, it's going to help to fade out that scar a little bit because it's going to rebuild that collagen that's under there. We have the poly red light. I think we're the only one around the area, Brenda, that has the poly red light. There's like, last time I looked, there was like 5,800 of them in the US. So that's not really that much when you're talking about the whole US. Ours is a very different machine. It's a big head. Like I said, it's not a bed. We actually pair ours. You can sit in a chair and use ours. We have like a recliner chair, but we also have a hydro massage. And since we got the hydro massage, everybody pairs them together. I don't know that we've even sold a red light session without using the hydro massage since we brought the hydro massage in. People just lay there and get the massage and get the red light at the same time. All you do is you just have to have it on your neck and your face and neck. You can have it on, like if you want to wear a tank top or something like that, you can expose it to more skin. That's definitely going to help, but it's not necessary. You just have to have it on some bare skin. But yes, it goes so deep in that it goes right into your bloodstream and it can just work. Where I said before, when you are in a bed that has tube lamps, you only absorb about 18% of that red light. With the poly red light, you absorb like 85 to 95% of the red light. So, I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer. You might as well use the poly. The polys are super popular, but there's not a lot of them. They are a very expensive device to bring in, so there's not a lot of places that bring them in. We have one at Glow and we love it, and our clients love it. It's really comfortable. It will never get hot. When you're sitting under it, you don't get hot. You definitely feel heat, but it will never get hot enough to burn you. It's all LED. I can't even remember. I looked it up one time and I think it was like 6,800 LED lights on it or something. And I mean, it's a really ridiculous number of LED lights that are on it. It's a very awesome machine. You have to come check it out. That also helps to ease symptoms of acne. Most people associate only blue light for reducing acne, but with the poly, the type of red light that it does help to reduce acne also. And we have had doctors that have sent clients over to use our red light because of the acne fighting in it. Supports mental well-being. Majority of that is coming from the relaxation that you're getting. It's just helping to put you into a totally relaxed state, and it does help with your well-being. It's very quick and convenient. A session is 20. I was just getting to that, Joanna. That's funny. A session is about 20 minutes long. You could do a 30-minute session too. We sell both 20 and 30-minute sessions. It's non-invasive. It will never hurt you. Like I said, it never gets hot. You can touch the lights, everything. It never gets hot enough to burn you. There is no UV in it, so you do not have to wear goggles. We do have goggles that people can use. Most people don't like to use the goggles because they want it to be on their entire face. But there's no reason that you have to wear goggles. It will not hurt you. There's no UV in it at all. So nothing that you have to block. But like I said, with the poly, we always pair that up. Let me go to the hydro massage. The hydro massage, I don't know if anybody's ever been to a salon or a spa that's had hydro massage. Ours, some of them are like a bed that you lay down on, and it's a water jet is what's giving you the massage. Yeah, Linda, you need to come see us. But the hydro massage is definitely like ours isn't a bed. Ours is like a lounger. So you're going to lay in it, but you're sitting a little bit up. So you're not laying flat down. And we pair that with the poly. If you're going to lay there and get the massage, you might as well use the poly. We price them so that it's stupid to not pair them together, because we've made the prices just good to pair them together. It's a no-brainer to do it together. The hydro massage is it's a water jet, so it's moving up and down your body. You can adjust everything. So you can adjust the intensity that you want it to be. You can adjust the speed that you want it to be. You can adjust if you only want it like on your lower back. You can tell it that you only want it on your lower back. You can tell it to do your entire body from your neck all the way down to your feet. It helps to reduce your stress and anxiety. It improves blood circulation with those jets hitting you. It definitely helps with pain relief. It enhances recovery after exercising, because it's definitely warm. It's shooting. You're not getting wet. I guess I should have said that. When you're laying in it, you're laying on a big, huge bladder. So you're not getting wet. Whenever I say it's a water jet, people think that they have to come in like a bathing suit, and you just lay there in your clothes. Take off your shoes, lay back and relax, put the poly over the top of you, and just take a 20 or 30-minute nap. We have different packages for the hydro massage too, so you can get it in different times. But you're not going to get wet at all. It's just shooting up and down your back. It's super nice. It kind of feels like almost like a rolling sensation, because it will come from your feet all the way up. And like I said, you can adjust it if you want it to be in a certain spot, but like if you use it on your whole body, it'll come from your feet all the way up to your neck, and then it'll go all the way back down, just shooting at you. And it's using nice warm water. So it's not hot or anything like that. It's just nice and comforting and warm. That's how it enhances the recovery after exercise, because it just, it gives you that warmth first of all, and then it gives you that nice massage. It's convenient and time effective. We have people that come in, they'll use the hydro and the poly, and then they'll go tan. Or if those beds are taken, they'll tan first, and then they'll go use the hydro and the poly. Within an hour, you can do, at our salon, within an hour, you can do like 3 services. So you get in and out of there pretty quickly. Safe and hygienic, because you're not touching anything. You're just laying on this mat. It's covered with a sheet. After you leave, the sheet's taken off and put into the laundry, and new sheets put on. It's very easy to run. We show you how to do it all. It's very easy, and super relaxing. Let's see. We also have a scented oxygen lounge. I don't know if anybody knows that, but we do have an oxygen lounge in our salon. It's right out in our not in our lobby, but like down our hallway. If you've never tried an oxygen lounge, it's a lot of people might know them from Vegas, because they're all over the strip and everything. People use them for hangovers and stuff, but there's a lot of benefits to them that isn't just for hangovers. You pair it with essential oils. So some of the essential oils are for boosting your energy level. Some of them are for relaxing. Some of them are for mental clarity. Just kind of depends. We switch ours out all the time. So we have our set up to where it's on. We have 2 people can use it at one time, and each person can have 2 different essential oils on there. One of the essential oils will always be a beneficial one. So it could be for like headaches or hangovers or mental clarity or something like that. And then the other one is just a fun scent. So just, gives you like something good to smell while you're getting a benefit out of it too. Like I said, that a lot of people use them for hangovers and things like that, and so that they help to alleviate headaches. They help to aid in recovery and rejuvenation. That's the hangover part. They can support your respiratory health. They enhance your mood and your well-being, because anything that relaxes you always enhances your mood and well-being. Some people like to use them from altitude adjustment, and that's one of the big things with people using them in Las Vegas, and even us with all of the guys that fly in and out of here all the time. They like to use them for altitude adjustments. It refreshes the mind, definitely refreshes the mind. They say that they could help with skin complexion. That's one of the big boosts of it, but I don't really usually say that, because we don't have ours set up to do your whole entire face. With ours, it's just a nose cannula. To me, if you were going to use something like that, it would be more in like the aesthetic side of it, and we don't have ours set up to do that, but it's not going to hurt your skin complexion either. Let's move on. Infrared sauna. I don't know if anybody knows that we have a sauna either. It's kind of one of our little secret things, but it gets used all the time. I don't know if anybody knows about the infrared saunas, but they're very different from old saunas. Old time saunas, basically you sat in a little room and you got hot. That's all they were. Yes, they helped with detoxing and all of that kind of stuff, but you just sat there, you sweat and you sweat and you sweat, and that was it. You got out. An infrared sauna is not like that. The temperature will never get up as high as the old saunas did. And the reason being is because it doesn't have to. The infrareds are working between 120, actually I think it's 125 and 160 is where you want your temperature to stay. 160 even 125 sounds like it's incredibly hot, but it's really not that hot when you're sitting in there. We've had people tell us before it didn't get up hot enough. That's because they want it to be up to like 200, because that's what the old time saunas were. An infrared sauna doesn't work that way. Infrared sauna, 120 to 165 is where the infrareds are working. And if the infrareds aren't working, it's not doing you any good. So you want your number to be between those. We don't adjust the temperature. All we can do is turn it on and turn it off. The environment adjusts the temperature. So the more times you're opening and closing the door, that's going to, bring the temperature down and stuff too. So once you get in there, you just want to keep the door shut. But people that have told us that it didn't get hot enough, like I said, they're thinking about that old time sauna. The infrareds are what is beneficial to you. The infrared is what's detoxing your body. The infrared is what's improving your circulation. The infrared is what's easing your joint pain and your stiffness and reducing your stress and fatigue. If it got up to 180 degrees, none of that stuff would be working. You would just be sitting in a hot room sweating, and that wouldn't be doing you any benefit. So the benefits of an infrared sauna is to sit in a little room that is a relaxing, comfortable temperature that you can tolerate. And since the infrareds are working, it's detoxifying your body. It's relieving your muscle tension. It's improving your circulation. It's easing your joint pain and stiffness. It's reducing your stress and fatigue and all of that other stuff. So that's the difference between an old time sauna and an infrared sauna. Even some of the newer saunas out there, if they're not an infrared sauna, they're not doing the same. You have to have an infrared sauna to be giving you all of the benefits that you need from a sauna. We have sessions that go all the way from 30 minutes up to 60 minutes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does make you sweat out the toxins. You will sweat. You just don't sweat like you would in those really old saunas that got up to like 180 and 200 degrees. You won't sweat like that. Infrared is working from the inside out. So it's heating up your core before it's heating up the outside of your skin, if that makes any sense to you. Because the old time saunas, you got hot and you got sweaty and then you couldn't handle it. Infrareds work on the inside. So they heat up your core first and then they heat up the outside. And by that time, your session is over because you've sat in there long enough. So yes, it is helping you sweat out the toxins, but not in the old fashioned way of the old saunas. These actually work much, much, much better, and they're more tolerable because your temperature doesn't have to get up as far. The sauna that we have also has an acoustic therapy. So it plays music. So even if you don't want to listen to the music that's playing, you should always keep it on and then use your own headphones or something to listen to music or a podcast or whatever that you want to listen to. The reason I tell people to leave that music on is because that music is working with the bench. The music, I don't know how they do it, but the music, it's called acoustic therapy, and it's playing the same music over and over and over again. I think it's only like 3 minutes of music that it's actually playing, but your mind can't memorize it. So every time you're sitting in there, you're hearing something different. If you sit in there for a 30-minute period, you're only hearing 3 minutes of music that's playing over and over again, but that's not what your mind is hearing. Your mind is hearing it playing 30 minutes of different music. I don't know how that works. It's really complicated for me to understand that, but that's how it works. I've tried to sit there and listen to it and recognize it, and I can't memorize it. And it also works with the chrome therapy in there, which is the lights. It has a light for every ailment you can imagine. And we have a book and everything that tells you what all different lights are. Most people just like to have ours set up to where it just rotates through the lights, unless they're looking for something specific. Like if they wanted to just focus on anti-aging, they would just leave it on the red lights. That being said, it's not the same kind of red light that works in our poly red light. It's a very different light, but it's still a red light, and it's still working with anti-aging. But the best to do is just leave it with all the different colors, and it just goes through a cycle of lights, and it gives you a little bit of all of them. It's a very, very nice, relaxing way to spend half an hour out of your day. And actually, talking about the sauna, we've had people that have come. We've had a few girls that have come in and used it because they got a little too carried away, like at the bachelorette party and stuff, and then discovered that they bloated a little bit and couldn't fit into their wedding dresses. And they've come in and used them for a few days to get some of that water weight off of them, to detox a little bit and get back into their wedding dress. I don't know a lot about the ones at Costco, so I'm not 100% sure. I would have to look those up because I'm not really sure about the ones that they have at Costco. I've never personally even seen them. Tanya's reminding me that we have 5 minutes left. At our salon, we also have teeth whitening. Obviously, teeth whitening is the main thing about teeth whitening is for appearance. I mean, everybody wants to boost their self-confidence and their appearance, and we do offer teeth whitening at our salon. Teeth whitening and the sauna in our salon are the only two things that require an appointment. So with our sauna, we like to have the sauna heated up before you get there. So if you're spending 30 minutes in that sauna, you're having 30 minutes of benefit. You're not waiting 30 minutes for the sauna to heat up. So we like you to just come there, get right in, and you have a full session of beneficial temperature. Teeth whitening, the only reason we require an appointment is because I'm the only one certified to do the teeth whitening. So I have to make sure that I'm there. All right. It's just a picture of me. Nobody wants to see that. We talked about our oxygen lounge. Let's see, did we miss anything? Oh, we didn't talk about sunless tanning. Let me talk about that really quick. Sunless tanning is spray tanning. Ours is a machine. It's called a Pura machine. And some people just don't like to UV tan, but they want that glow. Perfect for them. It provides instant color. Ours also has a clear, so it doesn't provide instant color. It sprays on clear and then develops over the next few hours. Otherwise, you get the same end result. If you use a bronzer or if you use the clear, you get the same end result. It's just that the clear applies clear, so you don't see it right away. People like to do that like on their lunch break, so they don't come in, get a spray tan, go back, and everybody knows they got a spray tan. It'll develop over time. They do fade similarly to a natural tan. They enhance the skin radiance. They're ideal for all skin types. Anybody can use one. Lasts 5 to 7 days. With ours is very customizable. I don't even know how many custom kinds you can get, but we have, you can get it with a prep. So it helps to balance the pH in your skin. You can also use prep before regular UV tanning in the beds too. It helps to balance the pH in your skin so that you tan a little bit better. And then we have, like I said, we have the clear and we have the bronzer. We also have a moisturizer that can be sprayed on afterward to help prolong the effects of the spray tan. They apply streak free. They even out your skin tone a little bit. They just give you a nice healthy glow without having to lay in a bed. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? I know I went through kind of fast. It felt like I was rushing things, but I don't know. I want to give you a couple of the reasons why you should visit Glow really quick. We've had many, many Best of Bakken awards. We've had Best of Bakken awards for our spa. We've had Best of Bakken awards for our esthetician, who is Brooke Nygaard. She's right on our location. We've had the best customer service rep, and that was Jasmine Morrison. She's our manager. We have a lot of sunless options. We have our red light therapy. We have our infrared sauna. We have our spray tan booth. We have multiple levels of UV tanning. But you just need to come in and give us a look and see everything that we have. I'm just going to show you really quickly. Oh, Brooks didn't load for some reason. Well, that's not good. Brooke Nygaard is our esthetician. Brooke does hydro massages, and she does a lot of other skincare. And so if you're looking for a great esthetician, Brooke is definitely one to look up. She's won Best of Bakken awards too for her services. So we're really proud to have Brooke with us. She's been with us the whole entire time since I bought my salon. So she's been with us for over 6 years, and she's really great. We have great staff. Our staff is very friendly and knowledgeable, and whatever they don't know, they find out. So they can help answer any questions. Our hours, we are open Monday through Thursday from 9 to 9, which we take our last clients 15 minutes before closing every day. On Fridays, we're from 9 to 7, so 6:45 is our last clients. And then on Saturdays, we're 10 to 4. And Sundays, we're closed. You're muted, Tanya. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I got it. I am so glad that you came on. Who here knew that all of this was inside of Glow? Anybody? Did anybody know all this was right here at our fingertips? I'm so glad. The debunking was awesome. I needed to hear it. Now, I've been one who I tan a little bit. I always have. I always will. And, I didn't want to believe that it was bad for me. So I like you, reconfirming that it's not bad for me. I appreciate that so much.
Actually, really quick, Tanya, since you're talking about that, one of the expos that I went to, there's a lady that she goes against the federal government with all the regulations and all of that kind of stuff. And she's kind of like the person that speaks up for tanning salons. When they did a survey of, I can't remember, it was like 10,000 people that they surveyed that have had skin cancer. Almost every one of them had never even been in a tanning bed before.
Oh yeah,
it was a very tiny fraction.
We could get into that whole thing. I totally, I don't have the knowledge to debunk that, but I do not think that any of that is true. The sun, granted, you have to be smart, right? I like a cotton shirt. I don't like to fry. But at Awaken Wellness, we have some, we can, well, I think this is my video. I can call it whatever. But if I air this on YouTube, this is what gets me kicked off of YouTube, talking about black salve and skin cancer. And my husband and I, as we have been through major cellular detox for the last X amount of years, we detox these weird spots on our skin that we take care of with this salve. Did it come from the sun or anything else? No. It's rogue cells that are migrating their way out of us that we are taking care of. So it's whatever the problem is, it is in you, whether you're in a tanning bed or out in the sun or not. It's in you. So that's the Awaken Wellness perspective on that.
My mom had three bouts of skin cancer, and my mom was, well, first of all, my mom had never even seen a tanning bed. She didn't even know what a tanning bed looked like. And she was the person that was never in the sun. And if she was completely covered. She hated the sun. She was never in it. And she had 3 bouts of skin cancer. So.
Yep. Agreed. So again, thank you. I'm so glad that you are here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take you down and introduce our next presenter. All right, guys, wasn't that great? I don't know about you all, but I am going to take a day off. I'm going to take a Tanya day, and I'm going to go hang out and try all of her stuff. I have tried her red light at a vendor show, and it was amazing. So there's a lot left there that I haven't sampled. Our next presenter is Cassi Haak. I hope I pronounced that right, Cassi. Cassi is a family nurse practitioner. She is the owner of Revival IV and Wellness over in our neighboring town of Watford City. So I was doing IVs a little bit at Awaken Wellness, and it was something that I was not able to manage with all the other things that I do. And now it seems like since I quit doing them, but I couldn't do them on myself anyway. But since then, like my husband thinks he needs them all the time. My stepdaughter thinks, so we're over at Cassie's like more than I ever gave us IVs at our place. So we appreciate her so much. For the majority of the times we've needed it, it's because we don't feel good. We haven't been the ones that go in just for the perk of it, just for the benefit of it. We're usually in some sort of need. She usually always we can get in there on a walk-in basis, and that's not all she does. That's why I was so happy when she decided to be part of the MonDak, is because she, like Glow, has a bunch of really fun stuff that she's got going on in there that I haven't tried yet. I've tried some of it, but we need to know what all she does. She walked away from that insurance controlled model. So she is a nurse practitioner. She does see people. She can do prescriptions and so much more. Welcome to the stage, Cassi.
Hello, thank you guys. Thank you, Tanya. I kind of, over the week, I've listened intermittently on and off to everybody's recordings, or I've listened to them in the recordings afterwards because I haven't been able to be live. But I feel like we're on the Maha, like Make America Healthy Again. I feel like we could all be spokespersons for that. So, and what a wonderful event to be able to be a part of and just share with so many like-minded people. So yes, thank you for having me.
All right, take it away.
Perfect. Well, like I said, my name is Cassi Haak. She did mispronounce it, but it's okay. I tell everybody it's Haak like cake. And I am a family nurse practitioner, and I am the owner of Revival IV and Wellness. And so today we're just going to kind of talk about what we do over at Revival and Wellness and my passion, and a little bit of how it kind of all evolved and what we all offer here. So I am incredibly passionate about helping people understand why they feel the way they do, and when they're here, they can take I can take meaningful evidence-based steps to feel better longer. So our ultimate goal is to find the root cause of what's going on to help people improve their energy, their hormones, metabolism, and ultimately improve their longevity and help them get their life back. Let's see if I can figure this out. Okay. For nearly a decade, like she said, I did practice in a traditional setting, and I did everything by the book. I did the guidelines, the algorithms, the protocols, and I started realizing that people weren't getting better. They were getting more medications. I was prescribing more meds like I was supposed to. I was doing all those things, but nobody was healing. Then COVID hit. And for me, honestly, it was a blessing that it hit because it really changed my mindset. It opened up my eyes, which I already knew, but kind of like just was like a gateway to where I am today. And I'm very thankful that COVID hit for that. But it also amplified what I also felt deep down, that traditional insurance-driven medicine was limiting the care that I could provide. And people needed more time, they needed more investigation, they needed more support ultimately. And I wasn't able to do that in that setting any longer. The icing on the cake for me, though, was when the GLPs initially came out, when Ozempic and became the latest and greatest. And I prescribe it and it would get denied. And I spent so much of my time arguing with insurance companies about getting it covered that I was like, why? Why can't we help people and give them a tool in their toolbox to help them lose weight, which ultimately would help them prevent or even reverse so many of their chronic conditions? And that's when everything shifted for me. So I've always believed in alternative and alternative, complementary, integrative medicine, whatever you kind of want to call it. That's always been a passion of mine. I've always recommended lifestyle. Even when I was in a traditional setting, I always spent a lot of time doing that. But I was so limited, A, because of time, and also because of the limitations that were put in by my employer. So when I started Revival IV and Wellness nearly 2 years ago already, it has allowed me to practice with freedom. I'm able to do personalized root cause, comprehensive workups, and actually spend time with my clients. And I get to help them find answers, create plans that actually fit their lives, and work with them so that we can make small modifications to transform their health. I will say we have an amazing team here. I have actually 3 locations, which is insane to me to wrap my head around. But I have a location in Williston, and I also have a location in Strasburg, North Dakota. But I have some of the most top-notch RNs. I am very blessed with the team that I have in all of my locations. So in my 2 locations, though, in Strasburg and Williston, we only offer IV and lab services at those locations. But in Watford is where we offer kind of our integrative health and where all of our fun things that we'll talk about today are all at. And we just recently also added 2 pharmacists to our staff as well. And they are pharmacists that are very, I would say, functional medicine based. They believe in, again, getting to the root cause and helping people work with lifestyle. So I feel like this is a God-driven mission for myself and for my team. So who do we love helping here? At Revival, we truly welcome individuals at all stages of their health journey. Whether someone is just starting to ask questions or has been struggling for many years, we feel they belong here. Our goal is to meet them where they are. We don't expect perfection, or we don't expect drastic changes overnight. We focus on understanding the unique needs and building a plan that actually fits their lives. Everything we do is centered on what is best for the individual, not a one-size-fits-all approach or a preset protocol that I was practicing with before. And most importantly, our priority is that everyone feels supported, guided, and genuinely cared for, no matter what the path looks like. Maybe they're going to stay with us and work with us long-term, or maybe we're just here for short-term so that we can send them off to another trusted provider. We want the people to feel confident. We want them to feel respected and supported. So I think that everybody, or many of the speakers, have touched a lot on your symptoms and how going to the doctor and you have your labs done and they're like, oh, everything looks normal. And these are just some of the symptoms, but a lot of fatigue. I've gained so much weight. My mood shifts. I have this belly now that I never had before. I have no sex drive whatsoever. I can't sleep. My anxiety's out of the roof. I just can't think clearly. I have so much brain fog. But what we try to do is that these symptoms are not just that you're getting older. They're not normal symptoms. These are signals that your body's telling you that something's going on. And they're not that your body's failing you. It's trying to tell you, hey, something's going on. We need to figure what that is. There are root causes, and the root causes that we discuss or that we focus on, we probably provide holistic care. We take care of the whole body, which is something I learned when I was a nurse and has continued on throughout my nursing career of almost 20 years. But there are root causes, and the ones that we really focus on here are not limited to this list, but they are hormone imbalances, thyroid dysfunctions, metabolic dysfunctions, inflammation, gut issues, and ultimately lifestyle stressors, which for many of our clients, that truly is the key for most of them. We also look. So I am passionate about hormones, and this was something that really is newer for me, I think, because I'm probably perimenopausal and I'm going through that stage in my life as we talk. And it was like when I was young, I didn't quite get it, and now I'm like, this is this is real. Like, this isn't something women should have to deal with. So I'm passionate about hormones, but we really focus on so many different things when we're at Revival. We use labs to look at the full picture, and then we apply those labs to the person, or we apply the person to the lab. So a lot of times when I go in and I see somebody, they may have already had their labs done, and I haven't even looked at them. I don't look at them until I have actually discussed what's going on, you know, what are the concerns, where's things at with them. And then we sit down and we go through the labs, lab by lab by lab with them, and how what their labs are showing is actually telling us what they're feeling. But we look at complete thyroid panels, which I know that Tanya talked about yesterday. We evaluate sex hormones. We talk about detox pathways. We assess cortisol patterns, which was, I know, also talked about in the previous nights as well, in the sympathetic nervous system and our fight and flight. We also look at blood sugar markers and insulin levels, like was also previously talked about today. We talk about micronutrients and inflammation levels and food sensitivities. We also, on the bottom, this is something that we're just actually going to be adding, which is quantum cellular body scan. So we are really getting into frequency healing. And so what this is, it's a biophysical evaluation. You actually wear the bone conducting earphones over your ears. And through the system, we're able to send in frequencies throughout your body, and we're able to receive those frequencies back through our computer system. And when we do that, there's a couple of things. It's 120,000 different frequencies that we're sending and receiving when we're doing this, but we also will send some healing frequencies as well. But then whatever is not healed, then your body, we receive some more frequencies back. So we're actually going to be able to customize supplements directly for what your body's calling for, rather than just being like, well, this works for this and this works for this. We're able to give your body and support it with what it's actually needing to help with a lot of the symptoms you may be experiencing. So that is up and coming soon. And I think we're super excited, but I think my pharmacists are super excited, or more excited than I am, just because that's right up their alley. So let's talk a little bit, like I talked about, hormone balance is now it's become a very much passion, probably more so an obsession for me more than anything. But I'm very passionate because I believe in health prevention. And I think that that's where when we talk about menopause, it's more than just the symptoms that you're experiencing. So why do I recommend hormone replacement therapy, or HRT? It's first of all because it's a bone health. So HRT helps keep bones stronger. One of the largest studies ever done showed about 30% reduction in hip fractures, along with fewer spine and other fractures throughout the body compared to those that weren't on hormone replacement therapies. So for many women, estrogen truly acts like a protective layer for bone strength. Next, heart and clotting risks. The research is mixed on this, but there's two things that are really clear. Timing matters, and so does the route that it's taken. So timing, there's like a 10-year magic golden window, if you want to call it, of when it's best to start hormone replacement therapy. And that is within 10 years of having your last cycle. So we know that in order to clinically be diagnosed with being postmenopausal, you have to have a year without having a cycle. But we have to start having those symptoms a lot longer. So if we're at least in that 10-year window of the last cycle, and ideally starting even before your postmenopausal, where you're actually starting to have more of those perimenopausal symptoms. So you're like starting to see some of those shifts happening. That's a magical time to start on. And then how you take it. So oral estrogen can increase the risk of blood clots by 2 to 4 times, while transdermal or topical estrogen, which I use only bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, but which is much lower. But I have seen so many clients come to me that are still on oral estrogen just because there's such a lack of education in that traditional setting, which increases their risk of not only blood clots, but other breast cancer and all those other things as well. So choosing the right route is super important. Estrogen also plays a huge role in brain health. So studies have shown that improvements in memory, focus, attention, cognitive flexibility for women on hormone replacement therapy is increased as well, especially those who start earlier in menopause or the perimenopausal stage. And then finally, what everybody also always thinks about when we're talking about hormones or talking about menopause is the vasomotor symptoms. So that's the hot flashes, the night sweats, the sleep issues, the vaginal dryness, and the fatigue. So up to 80% of women experience this, and HRT remains one of the most effective treatments for reducing these symptoms and improving quality of life. So for decades, maybe some of you know this, but for decades, women approaching perimenopause and menopause were told that hormone therapy was dangerous. They said it caused breast cancer. What many didn't realize that these women were essentially cut off from treatment that could have improved just not how they felt, but also how they aged and their longevity of life. These women are now currently in their 70s and 80s, and then if they're still alive, which many of them may or may not be, but they're struggling now with osteoporosis, heart disease, fractures, and most of them are probably in a nursing home or needing some assistance at this time. And this breaks my heart because this could have been prevented. So I'm deeply passionate about supporting perimenopausal and menopausal women. And despite what we know, women are still being denied access to hormone therapy that could have helped them feel better, live longer, and age healthier. But just this last fall, in the fall of 2025, after a long 23 years, the FDA has finally removed the black box warning on hormone therapy. So when we're talking about a major win for women's health, this was a major step forward. But honestly, I feel like it's only the beginning, and I hope to be a part of this movement and ensure that women are heard, that their symptoms are validated, and that hormones are used appropriately, safely, and individually. Because women are no longer told that we just have to suffer through it. And I can't wait for that to be a reality for every one of them. Next, let's talk a little bit about thyroid. I know that Tanya covered a lot of this yesterday, but I also, because I hear this all the time in my clinic, and I used to hear it in the traditional setting too, like I see that my labs are normal, but I feel like my thyroid's off. I'm tired, my hair's thinning, I'm cold all the time. I just feel like something's off despite having a normal TSH. And like we talked about before, like I do a comprehensive thyroid testing. So we look at your T4, we look at your T3, free T4, free T3, reverse T3. We look at all of those, not just that single TSH, because 40 to 60% of people with actual true thyroid related symptoms have perfectly normal TSH levels. And so again, people walk away and they're feeling frustrated. They know that something's not right and they're feeling unheard. But we take that approach and we look at it different. And we don't necessarily just look at, okay, well, let's supplement you with Nature-Throid or let's do that kind of stuff. We actually look at lifestyle. We look at what things that are potentially causing inflammation in your life or in your body as well. We look at stress. We look at guts. We look at hormones. And we even sometimes like optimize your thyroid, because even as we age or through toxicities in the environment or that we're ingesting, like things just maybe aren't up to par like they should be. And we can optimize your thyroid just to help you feel better and support that thyroid. So by treating the whole body and supporting lifestyle changes, we feel that we finally help patients get answers and get a plan that helps restore their energy, their metabolism, their mood, and overall well-being. Metabolic imbalances. And I know Stacey talked a little bit about this earlier, and I was like, oh, yes. Like carbohydrates, sugar is the issue. Sugar is the issue. And we have a diet that is, in the American diet, it's so saturated in sugar that I'm just so excited to have her also be talking about that. But our body, so I'm just going to briefly talk about the GLPs. So our body naturally makes these peptides in our gut. And as Stacey said, and earlier today, you know, they're instantaneous in our system, though. Like they're very short acting when they're in our true gut, where if we do the GLPs, such as semaglutide or tirzepatide, then they are longer lasting. So these are all currently being marketed for insulin resistance, obstructive apnea, weight loss in the injectable form. And now they actually just released, and there has been some oral forms actually available by compounding pharmacies, but now I've seen that they're available through the FDA as well. But what I say is, like, let's look at those. What are they actually doing? So they actually help control our appetite and our blood sugar. But both hormones tell our brain, hey, you're full, and help reconnect our fullness up here to our stomach and be like, hey, I'm good. I can push away that food. I actually have a sense of fullness. And then they also help our pancreas release insulin when your blood sugar rises. And she talked a lot about insulin resistance, but it actually helps those receptors be able to utilize that insulin instead of being bogged down. So they are truly a catalyst for transformation when used with lifestyle modifications, of course. So these peptides have been shown to help increase lean muscle mass. Actually, when I start anybody on them, one of the things that we talk about in extreme depth is strength training. And because some studies have shown up to 3% actual increase in lean muscle mass when they are doing lifestyle modifications. They've been shown to improve gut health, actually help with like leaky gut syndrome in some individuals, reduce neuroinflammation, promote nerve growth, improve heart function, and support the immune system. And they've also shown fat redistribution. And then there's also some correlation that they also may affect some tumors as well. So we do things a lot different with GLPs at Revival because I believe in low dosing. I believe in the lowest dose possible to help individuals have the best outcomes. So when we do this, we have less, of course, side effects, and we have a sustainable weight loss, and we're not worried about malnourishment or any of that happening as well. But we've also used GLPs for a lot of other things. Honestly, we have used it for anxiety. We've used them for chronic pain. We've used them for systemic inflammation. We've used them for gut health. And they just help with so many different things, even though, yes, they're being marketed as a weight loss agent. So we believe in the lowest effective dose that provides the greatest benefit for each individual, always alongside intentional lifestyle challenges. Lifestyle is one of the things that I am very passionate about as well. And that is always included in each and every one of my visits. And it may be something like, okay, let's take a baby step. Let's start with soda or something that is very, very easy. And maybe we're reducing that by 1 soda a day so that it doesn't seem so overwhelming for clients. We've witnessed incredible outcomes in these, including like better energy, better mood, reduced inflammation. And so I'm truly excited just for the world of peptides in general, but I'm also excited to see where things will go in regards to the GLP class as well. I've talked about lifestyle. So the reality is that not all imbalances require medications, and not all of them require even supplements. Sometimes what the body truly needs is just small lifestyle changes. And the truth is, change does not require perfection. It comes from small intentional habits practiced consistently over time. So one of the biggest ones that we talk about here is sleep, because about 40% of American populations in the last year has reported at least struggling with sleep at some point over the last year. And truly, if we're not sleeping, it wreaks havoc on every single system on our body. And that includes hormones, that includes metabolism, mood, immune function, everything. So I believe that sleep is not optional. It is foundational. We talk about nutrition. So nutrition is another area where people feel really, really overwhelmed because they are bombarded by so much. The food marketing has become incredibly sneaky, and it's hard to actually know like what is healthy anymore. And because everything says, low, gluten-free, all this other kind of marketing that they've put on things that it's just so complicated for people that have no idea. And so meeting them again where they're at so that we can make those steps forward and help them be most successful in their long-time life habits. We don't do strict or shaming. We don't do any restriction. Our goal truly is just to provide the education and help them move forward. Movement. So movement is critical. The more we move, the better we do. And if we want to live a truly long, healthy life, building muscle mass is the key. That's why I talk to every single patient of mine about strength training. And And it's not about streams. It's about like maybe it's body weight strength training that we're starting off with. But I know that any kind of movement that I can get anybody doing, it's going to increase their longevity, their resilience, and ultimately their independence to keep them home longer as they age. And then stress. Because who doesn't have stress in today's world? Stress isn't the problem, though. The problem is how our body adapts to that stress. We work with individuals using simple daily tools. I know there's been breathing that's been talked about. I know there's a lot of talk about energy and all those kind of things, which we incorporate most of them in our practice as well. But sometimes we need to go deeper, and we need to talk about cortisol levels, and we need to actually give them an objective view of what is actually going on with your body to understand that stress response and them constantly being in the fight or flight, or maybe they have flatlined on their cortisol levels. So these basics of sleep, nutrition, movement, and stress are foundational. And when you stack them with right lab insights and personalized care, we have seen such transformation happening in individuals. So some lifestyle takeaways that I'm just going to leave you guys with is not every imbalance needs a medication or a supplement. Many health concerns can improve with simple lifestyle changes, not prescriptions or supplements. Progress breeds perfection. Real change comes from small, consistent habits, not doing everything perfectly all at once. Sleep is foundational. Poor sleep affects every single system in the body: hormones, metabolism, mood, immunity, and brain health. Improving sleep is often the first step towards feeling better. Nutrition doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't have to follow extreme diets, extreme fads. Really learning to make realistic, sustainable food choices that fit your life is what matters most. Muscle is medicine. Building and maintaining muscle supports hormone balance, metabolism, longevity, and independence, especially as we age. Stress is about adaptation, not elimination. Stress is unavoidable, and how your body responds and recovers from stress is truly what impacts your health. So, how Revival helps you. So at Revival, we take a comprehensive, personalized approach. We run in-depth labs. We address root causes, not just symptoms. We build personalized health plans that anybody can follow. We optimize hormones safely and effectively. We support recovery through IV therapy and alternative medicines and treatments. For longevity, I should say, let me take that back. Not through medicines, through alternative treatments, not medicines, for longevity and wellness. And we have other modalities as well, like we talked about a little bit about frequency healing, which I'll talk about our newest machine that we just got. So we believe that it's not a one size fits all, and that every individual has a customized plan. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about IVs. I know that Tanya had said that, yep, she had started IVs and they kind of got out of it. So I started with IV therapy. That was where I was going to start. And it's like I said, this is God's way of utilizing me to help people, because it has happened beyond measure for me. I have added services that I have never dreamt of and gone on a path myself as not only a healthcare professional, but also as personal as well, that is just unfathomable. But we started with IV. So one of the things that we also do is we do customized little IVs. So for instance, you come in, you see me, or you see our pharmacist, we talk about what's going on. And if the nice thing about IVs is we are able to bypass that gut. And so we can get full absorption, we can correct deficiencies without worrying about what the gut's doing or what the liver is going to remove when we're doing this. But the nice thing about IVs is they're easy. They come in, they get them, they're here maybe for an hour, and then usually they walk out and they're feeling a lot better. Some come on do it as more of a wellness basis, and some is more problem focused based on what they have going on. But we use all kinds of different IV nutrients. We use methylated vitamins. We actually do chelation. We just started doing ozone, which I'll also talk about here in a little bit as well. So ozone therapy. So this has been something that actually my clientele has been asking for quite some time, and it's been requested in our community for quite some time. So I'll just give you a little bit of update in case you don't know what ozone is. So ozone helps the immune system work more efficiently rather than just turning it up or shutting it down. It helps the body find a better balance, which can be helpful for people dealing with chronic inflammation or immune stress. Ozone actually helps the body use oxygen more efficiently. It's critical for healing. Oxygen is critical for healing, energy, and heart health. And this therapy can help cells do their job better with oxygen that they already have. Ozone can signal their body to release natural healing factors. And even though ozone works as an oxidative process, it actually encourages the body to strengthen its own antioxidant defenses, helping restore balance rather than causing damage when it's used correctly. It can help reduce pain and inflammation. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can utilize ozone. We currently we have an ozone machine, and so we draw it out. We draw blood out. We put the blood into a bag. I'm behind here. We draw blood out. We put it in a bag. We mix the ozone in, and then we infuse the blood back into the individual. We also use sinus lavages. So anybody kind of have like a sinus infection, because it does have antimicrobial, antiviral benefits as well. It can also be used rectally. We have not started that as of yet, but it can actually be used rectally as well, such as an enema, or where you slowly infuse the ozone into the rectum. So that's that. If you can see down here in my next slide, so this is actually our ozone machine. It's called the Aries that we recently just got, but it does a lot of different things. And so it also does Brown's gas therapy. So that is where you actually take hydrogen and oxygen and you blend it together. And when you do this, it supports our body at a cellular level. So hydrogen has been studied for its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. It helps neutralize oxidative stress while supporting the immune balance and tissue recovery. So we use this as a supportive therapy. Sometimes we have people just come in just to use it. Sometimes if we have somebody that's sick and getting in like an immunity IV, we'll put it on via nasal cannula. And some people have a euphoric sensation with it. And some people don't notice anything. Everybody's a little bit different, but they're very non-invasive. It is relaxing to some individuals as well. And like I said, it helps with fatigue, inflammation, immune stress. So we use this a lot just for recovery as well as for optimizing wellness. Especially, we've been using it tons now since everybody, I feel like, in McKinsey County has influenza. So they've all been coming in for IVs, and they get this as well. And then we also have what's called the frequency imprinted IV therapy. And like I've mentioned a couple times now, we're kind of getting more into frequency wellness. And so this is one of the things that we now offer, where we actually can imprint any of our IVs with whatever the individual has going on. So the nutrients that are in the IV do not change, but we can send frequencies through that IV because water is what maintains the frequency, and we infuse it through that way. So we can use it for cancer, we can use it for pain, we can use it. We have a whole Rolodex of frequencies that we can infuse, and we can do multiple at a time. Yes, it's very exciting. And then this is our latest thing that we got as well. It's called the Vibex Healing Bed. And because I think that we're not going to be shut down by the FDA, I can kind of say that this is kind of like a med bed. If anybody's heard of med beds, this is kind of what this does. Oh, sorry, I'm really bad at changing my slides. So it's a multimodal wellness system. This is everything. It has vibroacoustic therapy. It has variable PEM for pulsed electromagnetic fields. It has light and frequency entrainment, cranial frequency stimulation, and immersive visual protocols. So I'll kind of walk you through what all those do, and then I'll kind of tell you like what the experience is. But it truly is a full body healing bed, again, where we're using vibration and we're using frequency. It helps with so many different things. In the short term, we've only had this bed for about 3 months or 3 weeks, I think now. And the outcomes that we've seen in that short amount of time is just phenomenal. So we'll talk a little bit about vibroacoustic therapy. So people may have heard of binaural beats. So binaural and harmonic sound entrainment uses gentle sound frequencies to help the brain slow down, reset, and find balance. I know there's been a lot of discussion of that in the last week, as well as like trying to find time, trying to slow down, so we're not in that rushing to life's no fun song. But this helps our body just go from the fight or flight, where the lion's always chasing us, to just this lower stress, move out of that fight or flight response. It helps improve mood, reduce pain, and supports focus and sleep. So there's different sound waves. There's alpha, there's beta, there's delta, gamma, and theta. We can do most of these actually on them, but so alpha promotes wakeful relaxation. It helps with coordination and mental resourcefulness. This is probably my new favorite. I always had done theta before, but I would say alpha just keeps me like more alert, ready, and less, definitely without the stress though. Beta helps with alertness and mental activity. And a lot of that happens in the frontal part of our head region, so it works on that part of it. Delta sounds, which helps our body fall into a deep restorative sleep. And these are the slowest brain waves. And then gamma supports focus and mental clarity. And this is actually found throughout our entire brain. And then theta, which helps with relaxation, stress relief, and memory. And these have been linked to creativity, intuition, and daydreaming. And then we actually have a regular PEMF as well, but this bed has a variable pulse electromagnetic field. So unlike a standard PEMF, this one has a constant frequency. The variable actually cycles through multiple frequencies, intensities, and waveforms. So this is a little bit different. Because tissues and cellular processes respond to different signals. So when we use variable PEMF, we can stimulate repair, reduce inflammation, increase cellular energy production, and really support the nervous system regulation, all within one session. It also prevents the body from adapting and plateauing. Essentially, the treatment adapts to your body instead of your body having to adapt to the device. It is a silver lined, which isn't just a luxury look, so it sounds really nice. It actually is functional. Silver is naturally antimicrobial, so that helps our bed stay cleaner, which is important, especially in our situation. But silver is the most conductive material on Earth. It enhances the clarity and distribution of the PEMF signals and improves the grounding and creates a smoother, more comfortable experience for the client. And it also helps regulate our temperature and reduce the static, which contributes to, again, the relaxation and overall effectiveness of the session. So when you combine the variable PEMF and the silver line, you get a therapy that's more precise, more comfortable, and more effective for physical healing, pain relief, inflammation, and cellular optimization. Then light entrainment. So light and frequency entrainment is one of the foundational principles for healing in general, but we do use this a lot with the Vibex. And so the idea is simple. Our bodies are constantly communicating through electricity, cellular energy, and rhythmic patterns. And so when we introduce therapeutic light or frequency, the body naturally tries to sync to those healthier patterns. And with light entrainment, we use specific wavelengths to penetrate the tissues and to stimulate mitochondria, which are the powerhouse of our cells. And then on the frequency side, so it's through sound and vibration and harmonic patterns that our brain and nervous system are extremely receptive to these rhythms. And so when we expose the body to stable frequencies, the brain naturally shifts to these patterns to match them. So again, relaxation, improve focus, anxiety, and enhance cellular repair. And then they also has cranial nerve stimulation, which I will be truly honest, we haven't really used it a whole lot on this machine, but we use it on our other machine a lot, mainly because the Vibex already has a lot going on and will help a lot with cranial nerve stimulation. And when we're talking about that, we're talking primarily about the vagus nerve, just because the vagus nerve has such an impact on regulating stress and digestion and mood inflammation and pain perception. So we're actually able to we can put it on your earlobes, or we actually can put it on patches just to help, or on trigger points just to help with the body in that aspect of things. And then immersive video therapy. So this is designed to, again, shift our body and our brain into a state where it actually can heal and can start regulating itself. This way works through many different things, but it is very multisensory. It works through visual and audio. So I'm just going to skip all the science, and I'm just going to kind of tell you with really what it does, or what it's like to be on the bed. Let me go back here to the main picture of it. So this is called the halo. We don't have the halo quite yet. It's on its way. The halo actually creates what's called the Aples area. So that's in this area, but you lay on it. It's like a water bed is how I kind of describe it. It has water bladders. So they're filled up with actual ozone water. And then those sit on the actual silver line pemph. And so then when you lay on it, you put some goggles on, like kind of like a reality or the video VR glasses. That's what they're like. And we put headphones on. And then, like I said, we haven't so far, but we can also do the cranial nerve stimulation with patches or clips on the ears as well. And we start it, and it can vary. We actually do 7-minute demos. And so anybody can try it for 7 minutes for free. And then from there, it varies from 15 to 30 to 45 minutes as far as time frame. And with this, we've seen a lot of different things. We've seen people with insomnia. Like I have a gentleman that hasn't slept in over a year just because of high stress, has a lot going on in his personal life, all those kind of things. And he also is a parent, and he started it before Christmas. So when he was still doing the Elf on the Shelf, and he went to bed at around 10 o'clock, which is atypical for him, fell asleep, and then woke up at 6 a.m. And the first thing he thought was, I forgot to move the elf. But he had not slept in over a year throughout the night. We have people with migraines. Actually, one of my nurses who's struggling with migraines, it took her out of a 2-week cycle of migraines just because it, again, got her out of her fight or flight and helped her relax. We've just seen some things. How I describe my experience is more like an angelic, like I'm floating kind of sensation. Like I always say, it's like I was Peter Pan, just like floating around and all of a sudden like looking over a valley. But it is like a very out of body experience that, I can't wait till we have more data, because we are very data generated here. We like to see our results and see more of the outcomes that come with this. And it's a newer machine too. I think there's only actually 5 in the world, and most of them are in Canada. And so it's not that we have lots of data to just go off of. So yeah, exciting times here. We also have, I know that right before this, she talked about red light therapy. So we have an LED light therapy, which does look like a tanning bed. And ours is all based on Solfeggio's, hold on here. Ours has different frequencies as well, because I said we're a very frequency-driven clinic, or we're turning into a very frequency-driven clinic. So we actually have 7 different solfeggio frequencies. So depending on what the individual has going on, we can set that frequency, and they lay in it. And this one they do lay in naked. We have eye protection, but we do not necessarily recommend that they wear the eye protection. And this helps with all kinds of things, but one of the main things is just the ATP production of their mitochondria, so the powerhouse of their mitochondria, but also can help with skin health, muscle recovery, pain reduction, hormonal support, all kinds of different things. We've even seen it help with some people that maybe are on the spectrum with autism and whatnot as well. So so that sets ours a little bit different, but it is a full body. I think there's 14,400 actual lights in our bed. And then we also have on our Aries machine, which I showed earlier, which was our ozone, we actually have a laser LED light, and it kind of looks like a cupping cup, and they can put it anywhere on their body. So we actually have an individual who's going through cancer treatment right now, and she actually has jaw cancer, and so she's been doing radiation, so she has all these sores in her mouth. So we actually have her open up her mouth, and she just opens her mouth, and she just holds the light up there, because when it's laser focused, it can just penetrate so much deeper. And then we also, when we do that, we also have it so it's ozone too, so it actually can shoot ozone out to help with healing as well. And then I think the last machine that I'm going to talk, well, this is our last machine that we have, is our theta chamber, which was the first machine that we actually got. So the theta chamber is designed to put you in a theta wave state, like we previously talked about. It's just to help kind of shut off the nervous system, bring it back into that calm sensation. And how this works is you actually lay in it. It has a PEMF actually under the bottom. And it has the cranial nerve simulations that we put to the ears. It has your earphones as well, and then you get like a little goggle as well. And in this one, though, it only shines white light, and so you close your eyes during this whole thing, and then it spins, and it spins either counterclockwise or clockwise, depending. Counterclockwise is typically for anybody that is struggling with autism or some concerns like that. And it also is a 30-minute session that my kids actually asked to go into. So interesting enough, it just helps them also shut off their mind and takes them out of the chaos of this crazy world we live in. And this also, I mean, we've seen a lot of different things. We've helped with people with PTSD, with insomnia. Those are just having a lot of stress. Actually, in Idaho, they do use it for addiction. You're required, if you go to jail with any addiction, in one of the counties, if you go to jail with any addiction issues, you're required to do a 21-day course of the theta, just to help kind of recreate or redevelop those neural pathways to help with addiction. Oh, sorry, I did not turn my slide. I'm really bad at that. So there's what the theta looks like. You lay in here. There's a PEMF right here, and it closes. It kind of looks like a spaceship, but it does not blow up. So I'll just close with, so we do healthcare a little bit different here at Revival, but we start by listening, because if you don't feel heard, nothing else matters. We don't stop at surface level symptoms. We look deeper to understand why something's happening, not just how to cover it up. It's never a one size fits all. We personalize everything based on the individual that's in front of us, their goals, their history, and we start them for where they're at right now. We combine lifestyle changes with science and advanced therapies to support the body as a whole, not just as one system. And just as importantly, if we're not the right fit or something falls out of our scope, we refer to trusted professionals, because we do not know everything about everything. And I am the first to tell people about that. So our goal is simple: helping people feel better, function better, and live better, because feeling well should never be optional. Thank you. That's all I have. Oh, yes. Karen did say, yes, you feel like you are floating. It is a floating sensation when you're spinning in the theta.
I had no idea you had all these new things over there. So I'm so glad you're here, and hopefully everybody on here will go tell at least 10 people all of the awesome things. Oh, I bet, can you guys hear me? Sorry. I hope everybody here will go out and tell 10 or 20 people how awesome things that you guys are offering over there. So any questions, go ahead and throw them up in the chat. I have a question, Cassie. If you want to come over, like if I want to come over and do your new bed, do I need an intake assessment? Do I need anything fancy?
No, you don't. Our nurse, Mackenzie, she does kind of all of our settings for the most part. And so she just does a little interview with you, talks kind of what's going on. And then as long as you don't have anything that can cut us, poke us, or harm us, you're okay. I should say, unless you have something that's implantable. We don't do anything implantable just because we do use frequency. And so we don't want anything that you potentially have that's implantable that could, like a pacemaker or something like that. We don't
Ruin
want you
your battery. Yeah.
Exactly. But otherwise, for the most part, there is really no contraindications.
All right. How about the IV ozone? Is there like do we need to be seen first or an assessment first or anything
Yep,
like
we
that?
have a little assessment that happens before. But you don't necessarily need an appointment for me. As long as you have an appointment on my nurse schedule, like, we make it work.
Right. Oh, I am just so excited for you. These are things that, if I had the resources and had the credentials, all of these things I just love so much. And I love that it's in the MonDak. So many people just don't fully, I mean, you've got stuff over there that you have to travel to big cities to access. Like you've got some amazing equipment, really amazing equipment.
Yes.
I'm distracted because I'm trying to do my last drawing while we're talking. So you read the comments, see if
Okay,
there's any questions while I'm doing this next drawing here. Okay, Karen Lauren is our next winner. Awesome. Awesome. Is there any big questions for you? That was so much information. We just have to, everybody just has to, I'm going to bring a bus over and we're going to try this stuff. I'm so excited. Everything that you're doing is just so life enhancing. So if there's no big questions, I've got a few presenters that came back and I'm going to kind of just sign us off here. I'll talk. If you guys want to put yourselves on mute, I'm going to bring everybody up that dropped back in. This was kind of last minute that I put out. Whoever could join us to see our shining faces as we close down the week. So I'll try to watch if anybody else pops back in while we're here. And then let me get to my notes. I'm actually going to read off my notes. Oh, let's just take a deep breath before we close this out. If you're watching this live, thank you for staying with us. If you're watching on the replay, maybe late at night, early morning, or between your real life responsibilities, we want you to know something right up front. This space was created for you just as much as it was the people who showed up live. And we want to start by saying this clearly. I'm deeply proud of what happened this week, not because it was flashy, not because it was perfect, not because it was big, but because it was real. I've been sitting with everything we heard over the last few days. One theme keeps popping up for me, and it wasn't planned. It wasn't a buzzword. It wasn't something that we got together as a group and decided what to talk about or rally around. And it totally was not a marketing angle. It revealed itself naturally. And that theme was nervous system regulation, or more honestly, nervous system dysregulation. I know the nervous system regulation It is a social media buzz right now. Every health and wellness guru is talking about it. Every influencer is making reels about it. But what you heard this week was different because it wasn't a theory. It wasn't just trendy language. This was real professionals right here in the MonDak seeing the same pattern over and in real people from completely different angles. Looking at physical, looking at emotional, looking at nutritional, neurological, environmental, and spiritually, everyone kept pointing back to the same truth. When the nervous system is dysregulated, the body cannot heal the way it was designed to. When the nervous system is supported and safely restored, the body remembers what to do. So, no matter what door people walk through, what that symptom is, what the messaging is, whether it's chronic pain, hormone dysregulation, gut issues, fatigue, weight, anxiety, autoimmunity, or just plain burnout and fatigue. It all comes back to the same foundation, and that's totally not a coincidence. That's coherence. Why does this matter? Again, it's not that it's a trend, and I want to be very clear because it really does matter. Nervous system dysregulation is just not about feeling stressed. It's not about feeling anxious. It's not about being busy. It's about living in a state where the body never feels safe enough to repair, to digest properly, to detox, to rest, or to regenerate. And that state of life has just become normalized no matter what age you are. We praise it, we reward it, we build our identities around it. And it's true that your body keeps score, and eventually it starts to speak. The language that it speaks are symptoms. And what I loved about the summit the most is that nobody was trying to sell you a magic switch for any of these problems. Nobody stood up here and said, just do this one thing and everything will change. What you heard instead was coming from a much more honest place. Healing is relational. We're coming in here and we're creating relationships. Healing is layered. Healing requires support. It takes consistency. And healing starts with regulation, not with force. Watering the grass. One of my favorite moments this week came from Ashley, who talked to us about her yaks. She said something so simple, but it stopped me in my tracks. What she said was, the grass is greener where you water it. Why haven't I heard that before? I've heard the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, but her version is better. The other side of the fence keeps us looking outward. It keeps us looking for someone else, for the guru, for someone on the outside of the MonDak to tell us what we need. Her version brings us back home. And that, to me, captures what the MonDak Summit is all about. We're not waiting for something big, some outside authority to come and save us. We aren't outsourcing our wisdom to the white coats or to the internet. We're watering the grass right here in the MonDak, right here in our communities, right here with the people who live here, the people who shop here, the people who raise families here. And that's what matters to me, because healing doesn't happen in isolation. It doesn't happen in abstraction. It happens when we all work together. It happens in relationship. Why this summit exists, I want to remind you that it exists in the first place not to compete with anyone, not to convince and not to overwhelm. It exists simply to connect other practitioners, to connect other just lay people doing amazing things that are using their own healing and who have put together a business around their outcomes and have a desire to help people, to connect conversations that are already happening, but often out in the silos. Our slogan for the MonDak Summit says it clearly. We're not waiting for change, we're creating it. We're fueling the future of health in the Bakken. And health is changing. The food pyramid flipped. The vaccine schedule reduced. People are asking better questions. They're waking up to the fact that everything looks normal, doesn't always feel normal. And the practitioners and all of us in the Bakken, we're not behind. We're here to lead with quality, faithfully, and with integrity. Let's talk for 1 second about responsibility. Now, I want to shift gears for just a minute because this is important. And I'm saying this with respect and not judgment. At some point, cycling the mountain alone stops being brave and it starts being expensive. Circling the mountain, it costs you emotionally, physically, and financially. Hanging out on social media, watching reels, listening to podcasts, trying the next supplement, doing a cleanse that you saw on a commercial or somebody mentioned is all information without relationship and is shallow healing at best. The one thing you probably heard more than once this week was, at some point, you need your commitment to become official. You need to pick someone. You need to make an appointment. You need to let yourself be guided, not because you're weak, because your healing was never meant to be done alone. Just like Dr. Keller, she talked about the importance of real relationships with your provider. And that's not gatekeeping, that's protecting you. That's fully taking responsibility for that healing intimacy, whether you're working with an internet provider or an influencers and internet gurus are not your provider, is what I meant to say. Free advice taken out of context can cost you dearly. Support is not failure, support is wisdom. Choosing the right practitioner. Here's something I really want you to hear. You don't have to work with everyone you saw here. You don't need a big package. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to choose one aligned next step. Maybe it's a routine adjustment with one of our local chiropractors. Maybe it's hormone support with one of our providers here. Maybe it's nutritional guidance from someone like Stacey. Or maybe it's emotional support from Rihanna or Paige. Or maybe it's working with me. What matters the most is how you feel when you're with this person. What is that connection? How is your frequency? Years ago, when I was a beautician, we were taught something, and that stuck with me. Of course, you wanted to give a good haircut, but at the end of the day, what mattered most, what had people coming back to sit in your chair, was how they felt when they were with you. Did you make them feel seen? Did you make them feel safe? Did they feel better leaving when they arrived? And that applies to your wellness and your healthcare too. You want someone who challenges you enough to keep you motivated and isn't a complete yes man, but you also want someone who's going to help you succeed one step at a time, not trap you or guilt you or shame. So people matter, styles matter, energy matters, and that fit matters. That's why discovery calls exist. We want to support our ecosystem. I also want to say something really practical, because this is how we keep this movement alive. Please support the people who you have heard from this week, and here's how you do it. Especially with social media and advertising. You like, you share, you follow, you make a few meaningful comments. This is how you tip small businesses in 2026. Not just these businesses, any business. All those things do matter. Not by messaging people and asking for free advice, but or asking them to diagnose in the comments. That is not public support. Like, share, comment. Reviews matter. They matter more than people realize. If someone here has helped you with what they've said during the summit, if you get good content from them and you feel supported, go to Google, leave a 5-star review. Go to Facebook, leave a 5-star review and a few honest sentences. It helps them keep showing up. It helps boost their confidence to know that people are paying attention, and it helps others find them. It keeps the ecosystem strong. This is the first summit, just the first. It was intimate, it was enjoyable, and I loved it. I'm proud of that, because what we're building here isn't about hype, it's about a foundation. The replays are going to keep working. When you see me pushing those out on social media, please continue to like, continue to share, and keep them circulating around. Keep the momentum going. People will keep finding this content, and the conversations will keep unfolding. This was never meant to be a one and done event. So what comes next? This is where we're going. We will be doing this again in 6 months. We will be growing into a podcast, because these conversations need a home and they need to keep being had. The invitation is wide open. If you have been here listening and you know somebody who's got something to say, if they're a practitioner or a professional, someone with a healing story, someone with a healing device, whether it's direct sales or MLM, everything deserves to be heard. For people with a story, if you're watching this or hearing this and thinking, I know someone who should be part of this, or someday I want to be part of this, that is amazing. You're welcome. That is exactly how any movement starts. And finally, in all the gratitude that I could possibly muster up to every presenter, thank you for saying yes. The energy you brought mattered, the cohesiveness. Everybody watching, thank you for your time. Time is sacred. It's something we can never get back. And to this region, the MonDak, thank you for being willing to have these conversations. We're not waiting for permission. We're not waiting for the systems to catch up. We're watering the grass right here. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what grows next. I'll see you soon, maybe in an appointment, maybe in a conversation, or whatever comes next. Take care of your nervous system, take care of each other, and thank you for being parts of the MonDak Wellness Summit. If there's any last comments, we'll quick. Oh, I'll do another drawing. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Comment away. You guys unmute and address the comments if there's any while I do this.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. I learned a lot, and I can't wait to watch the replays for those I missed, and you guys were all great. It was awesome. Thank you, Tanya, for everything.
Thank you. I keep drawing because everybody that I draw has already won. So I'm trying to find somebody who hasn't won yet. All right, I got one. Jen Peterson. All right, I will be doing edits and getting emails out to all the winners and making connections to see how people are going to get their stuff. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next time.